Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be going over 5 linebackers that I think the Washington football team should target in free agency. We all know that a linebacker is a big need for the Washington football team, especially with, Jamin Davis being more of an outside linebacker versus a middle linebacker. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content, hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Also, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers on there. Now, let's get right into the video. So I think we all know that the Washington football team needs a linebacker. I mean, honestly, it might be the biggest hole on this team besides quarterback, besides a franchise quarterback. They desperately need a middle linebacker. We thought Jamin Davis could possibly, be that guy. We drafted him at 19. That didn't work out. He could still be a great player, but he's likely not going to be the middle linebacker. So we have some solid linebackers. I like Cole Holcomb, and Jamin Davis has some potential, but those guys are outside guys. We are in desperate need of a middle linebacker, and there are, a decent amount of options that we can go for in free agency. And some people might say, hey, you can, you're sitting at 11, you might be able to get Nakobe Dean, and there's some, the Utah linebacker, there's some other guys as well. But the thing is that Keim has reported, some others as well, as they want a veteran guy at the middle linebacker position because they want him to be able to call the signals and help these young guys out. I mean, let's say you do draft Nakobe Dean, that you're going to have a rookie middle linebacker with a guy in Jamin Davis who, started 1 year at Kentucky, didn't play much. I mean, he played some in his rookie year, but, there weren't a lot of games where he was playing most of the snaps. So you're going to have those guys plus Cole Holcomb, who, is a veteran at this point, but still it's going to be his 4th year in the league. So you're going to have all those guys on the field at the same time, not much experience. So I do think they're going to go the veteran route for the middle linebacker position. And there's definitely some options in free agency this year. Here are the options. There's a bunch of different guys. But we're going to start with, one of the top options, and that is Devondre Campbell from the Green Bay Packers. I mean, he's been an absolute beast this year. All pro. I mean, he's been playing a lot of, middle linebacker for them. He's pretty versatile. You look at his stats, 16 games, started all 16 of them. Intercepted 2 passes, allowed a 71% completion percentage for, honestly though, for a linebacker, that's not bad because again, they're covering a lot of short routes. So, a lot of crossing routes, and he only allowed 356 yards. And what's really good is he only allowed a 74.9 passer rating when thrown against him and 1 touchdown in the year. So that's really, really good because a good pass rating is in the 90s to 100. So that's good for him. And look at this, 2 sacks, 7 pressures, but look at this, 2.7% missed tackle rate. That is very, very good for a linebacker. I mean, anything under like 7, 8 is really good, and he's at 2.7, so he's probably going to cost a lot of money, but he is a free agent after this, or this season, I believe. So I think getting someone like Devondre Campbell would be a really good signing for Washington. Gonna be expensive, but I think it would be well worth it for someone like him. Could instantly help this defense out. And he's still, he's not young per se, but he's in the middle. He's 28 years old, and you can sign him for like a 3-year deal. And we have a decent amount of cap space. We have over $50 million. I think this is a little off. It's about $54 million with that doesn't count the Jordan K extension and the Charles Leno extension, but still we have a lot of cap space. We can make some other moves to increase our cap space as well. He's been one of the best signings in all of football this past year for the Packers, and first team all pro, and he's the guy you want on your team. A good story and good in coverage, great tackler, pretty much good at everything. So him being the signal caller would be great. It's going to cost a decent amount of money, but if they're willing to do it, I think it would be great. Again, though, it would be, I think the Packers are going to try to extend him before he hits free agency. So that's the main issue. But if not, I would go after Devondre Campbell. So the next guy on this list is a Dallas Cowboys. So I know you guys might not like him, but Leighton Vander Esch from the Dallas Cowboys, I think he would be a really good signing for us. as that linebacker. You know, he played middle linebacker for a couple years. Also, he can go all over the place, but I do think he can play middle linebacker. He's still young, 25 years old, and this year played in all 17 games, allowed a 71% completion percentage and an 87.9 pass rating against him, only allowed 1 touchdown. So honestly, not as good as Devondre Campbell, obviously, but still solid in coverage, only allowing 1 touchdown on the year. And again, that completion percentage is going to be much higher than, a corner's or a safety, because these linebackers are covering much shorter routes. So missed tackling percentage, 9.4%, not bad. Again, anything under 10% is pretty good. You see the last couple years, 15 and 16, you do not want to have that. But this past season, much improved. He's had, 1 sack and I believe a few pressures as well. So he's a guy that you could bring in. Won't be super cheap, but I think will be cheaper than Devondre Campbell, and you take him away from the Dallas Cowboys. So I think it is a win-win, and you have him, Holcomb, and Jamin Davis in your linebacking core, and then maybe Bostic as a backup. Because Bostic, I don't like him that much. I don't like him at all as a starter, but as a backup, that's where, as a backup inside linebacker, you can get him for cheap. I would not mind that at all. But, someone like Leighton Vander Esch, if you can get him for somewhat cheap, I think that would be a good move for the Washington football team. So this next guy, do not know how to pronounce his name at all, but he's a linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons, Foyesade, and then, I'm sorry, if anyone can give me, tell me how to pronounce it, I'll go ahead and do it. But he's about 6'2", 215 pounds, went to Yale, so he's a smart guy, and 192 tackles this year. That is absolutely insane. 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 3 interceptions, and had 80 return yards off of those interceptions. So he's a really good tackler, very good tackler, solid in coverage. I mean, you get those 3 interceptions, but he does allow definitely some catches. But he would be a good option for us. I think he would be kind of in that same money, same range as Leighton Vander Esch. I think he would be a good option, though still relatively young. I think he's like 26 years old. Yep, he is 26 years old, will turn 27 this off season. So guy I think we should go after. He's still young, still improving, because I mean, when you're what was he, a 6th round pick? When you're a guy who gets drafted in the 6th round, you usually don't get that many opportunities your first couple years, but you see he got a decent amount, but the last couple years has gotten a lot more opportunities, and I think he will start to, he will continue to blossom and could be one of the better linebackers in the NFL, can play middle linebacker, can play on the outside as well, but I think that's an option the Washington football team should look for. And those guys are kind of the top guys that I kind of went after. These next guys are going to be cheaper options in my opinion. Kaiser White from the Los Angeles Chargers, 6'2", 216 pounds, 25 years old, was a 4th round pick out of West Virginia. And, he played 17 games this year, 144 tackles, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions. Almost all these guys that I picked are middle linebackers. Some are, in between. Couldn't find too much information on Kaiser White in terms of his true position. There's some sites that say he's a middle linebacker, some that say he plays a little bit on the outside, but he's definitely a guy that I would, be intrigued with. He's a young guy and, didn't really get much opportunity in his first year, and then started getting more and more as, his contract, as, he got better. So he's a guy I think will be cheap, somewhat cheap. Like, he's not going to be $4 or $5 million, but it might be, a little bit more than that, but definitely not as much as someone like Devondre Campbell, who is going to get a lot of money. And Leighton Vander Esch will probably get, 10-ish mil. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure, but, I think this is the cheapest option so far. And we just need a guy, it's easy. It's pretty easy to find at least okay middle linebacker play in free agency or in the draft. So, especially in free agency. So we can get these guys that can play at least okay for us. And that is a huge upgrade over what we had this year. But these first 3 guys that I picked, they're better than okay. Kaiser White is, average to above average. Next guy, this is like a veteran, Donta Hightower. He would be an option. He's going to be cheaper, and I don't really think he would come to Washington. He probably would want to stay with Bill Belichick, or maybe if the Texans hire Brian Flores, maybe he'll want to go over there. But he's a guy with a lot of experience that can help Cole Holcomb and help Jamin Davis develop. He can play on the inside. His best play has been on the inside. This year, played 15 games, 64 tackles, 1.5 sacks, no interceptions, but he's a guy that, in his prime was one of the better linebackers in the NFL, took a year off in 2020, so he's a little bit rusty, but, this year got him, back into it, and I think next year he'll be better than he was this year. But that's a guy, if you're going to sign him, that's a 1-year deal. That's, I'm not doing anything more than that with his age. He's 31 years old. Going to turn 32 pretty soon. So he's a guy that I'm definitely fine with signing someone like him, a veteran like him. But it's a 1-year deal. And I think it would be, we would get average to above average play at that position. And not only that, but we would get the veteran leader, that he is, and he can help develop Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb. So that's like an added boost right there. So those are kind of the 5 guys that I think the Washington football team should look at. There's definitely some other options out there, but this is whatever we do, we got to get a middle linebacker this offseason, preferably in free agency. We can still go after one in the draft, but more later than early, because we need a veteran signal caller to help our young guys out. So that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know down below in the comments section who you would want to sign. There's some other guys out there that are, really good. Anthony Barr, but he kind of plays on the outside, so wouldn't really work for us. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Enjoy the playoff football today. I might not make a video tomorrow, but if I do, it'll likely be a Cowboys 49ers recap, especially if the Cowboys lose that game. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.